Alright, so here's this new Marlin XL7 3006. Just giving it a bit of a rundown, clean out. I got it just yesterday and we quickly put it together in the shop and got it home, put 4 shots to it and everything rattled loose. Scope mounts, action bolts, triggered bolts, yeah, pictine rail, everything was loose. So I've just put everything out and given it a bit of a nail polish, just tighten some things in. So yeah, I'm just about to reassemble, so we'll get on with that. So just now, even these bolts were loose on this thing, so I got to that. While I'm here, I've just adjusted the trigger with this little screw here, and that's pretty crisp now. Apparently got to be careful not to over tighten these with the plastic trigger guard, but you can swap it out for a rimfire steel trigger guard. Just going to do the back one up, not so tight. So there we have that's pretty good too for a hunting rifle. Doesn't fire when it's safe. Bolt still works while it is safe, so it's a non-detachable mag, it's internal, so it's all going to be fed through the top. I've stuffed up out here and haven't put my follower spring in. It was completely dry, clean bore before firing, so I could expect it to be a little bit unsettled. It should be on the money now. Alright, that's sighted, so now I'm just going to put a couple of rounds through it. See if these two land next to each other and be pretty happy. Fucking sweet as. Hope those screws and stuff stay tight. It'll be a bit of a tester anyway. After these factory rounds, I've got 20 Accubonds I can load, and then I'll get back on the Woodley train with 3006. Alrighty, see if this one goes near it, and then I'll be pretty happy. Just step off the fringe. About 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go and have a look at her. Righto, so here's the scoop today. Knocked off early, got the full moon up there, and come out for a quick glass. There's a few deer about, one up high. Can't be bothered walking for that one. And then there's one a bit lower, which looks like just feeding along pretty casually, and I'll be able to drive up pretty close and then hopefully film shooting that thing with the new Marlin 3006. I better get to it. Alright. Standard, that's pretty typical way I roll. Stag probably would have been nearly in view. Just out of view. Just behind a few shrubs really. But yeah. Come here to get a hind and blood this marlin. That's what we've done. Low light. So yeah, it's crossing the blackberry. And then I'll get the meat out tomorrow. It's going to be cold tonight, so it won't matter. And then get the skin. Just before I go, that's pretty much what happens. I come up in here and see a few does, get up in here and shoot one, and then next minute stag runs off. Hard to know how big it was. Didn't have like massive timber that I could see from here. Generally when they're big you might see like a decent bit of timber, so the good news is it's gone away for another day, you know. And the bad news is that I got the hind, so would have been 3 or 4 there. So that's pretty sweet. I better get up there and have a look through all this blackberry. I was just doing a bit of autopsy on this hind from yesterday. Got the exit there. So through its front shoulder, boom, boom, come out here. And you wouldn't believe what's actually between the... There's nothing out there. That's it right there. I think a bullet. Oh, just pulled this AccuBond actually out of that deer from one footage there before. Pretty happy because it's a nice mature hind, resident hind. So the stag was only in here visiting her or her friend, and her friend ran away and her calf ran away. The calf was quite big. I think I got a little bit of footage there, but it was old enough to know what it's doing, and I'll just give it a bit of an education, as in when deers honk, better off running. But it's a 150 grain bullet out of 30.06 today. Bloody sweet, mate. Bloody sweet. Cool. While I'm here taking a break, this is that Marlin 30.06 I brought last week. It's got one in her, but when doesn't it? So far so bloody sweet. Initially had a fair bit of issues with loose bolts and mounts, everything, but that was sort of standard. Had to upgrade these bolts in here because they were just stripped. Seemed like a lighter aluminium stuff. So I just got some high tensile bolts, screws actually, and just screwed the shit in them. Doing the job, holding zero very well. That's a factory supplied rail. Again, when it's off in your hand, it feels really light and flimsy, so to speak. But I've been told by all the boys on CGN that it's good to go. Should have no dramas with it. A lot of people will change that mount, that rail and the mounts out pretty quick anyway. I'd advise you to do that if you're buying one gun. Bit of a budget sort of rifle this. You could pick it up for $500 bare, possibly with a shitty scope on it, but you don't want that. So you just find the rifle, and from there put on a good set of mounts and put on your favourite scope. I think it's hard to beat a Leopold VX2 3.9x40 myself for the price and all that. That's the VX ones used to be the staple, I suppose. That was the benchmark as far as I was concerned. I'm not going to go and spend $2,000 on a scope. And my $500 scopes do the same thing, you know. This one is a by 50, and I noticed especially late arvos, like when this hind was shot, and when you're just glassing far away faces, the by 50 lets in a lot more light. And not to say, when you're in nice tight choked up gullies in the afternoons too, the by 50 is letting in a whole lot of light, and there's no complaints there. This trigger, see, it's like a fake Profire, X-Fire, what the Savage has. It's actually helped me out quite a bit. I'm a shotgun slapper. I slap triggers and I bloody flinch like a bitch. So what this has done is allows me, it doesn't go off until it's depressed. So you can pull the sights in as much as you want, it won't work. Once that blade goes flat, it'll then fire. And especially with this deer, I was able to just line up and squeeze a shot off. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks with when I stretch the distance out a bit with these 150 grain projectiles. Until I get some Woodleys, I'll just point and shoot them. But with the Woodleys, I'll try and shoot out to 400 metres with 30.06. That's very doable, especially in this day and age. And yeah, if you can look past the single stack magazine, it's not detachable whatsoever. But what I found in my times from being a young fella looking at guns and pros and cons to all these rifles, and that everyone wanted a detachable magazine, and I could never for the life of me work out what the fucking difference was. But I realised the magazine's quicker to get in and out when you're driving around tracks and shooting deer where you shouldn't be shooting deer. Any backpack hunter puts 4 in it and walks around with it for 4 days. Might spit one out of it at the end if you're lucky. So don't let that put you off purchasing these cheaper budget rifles. The entry level, there's no doubt about it. But it's a tool, and they do their job very well. The Marlins actually got a fair bit of stuff from all the other guns. You see a bit of Savage in here, you'll see a bit of the new Remington 783s, you'll see a bit of Savage. yeah, Stevens and Savages. Well, this plastic feels a little bit better than them straight off the bat. The Stevens that I felt and the Savage Axes that I felt were felt a bit more flimsier. And the bonus to this one's the recoil pad. It's actually a little bit softer than just a bloody solid piece of rubber. So that works, and it's great. And 3006, with the 180 grains it recoiled, I'd be fine point and shooting deer in the bush with it. Same as I do with the Whelans and the 9.3s, but I found the 150 grain was really good in 308 calibre. And if it was good in 308, well, this thing's going just a bit faster. So you see, like, typically, one thing that I've probably noticed with that deer, and to pull that bullet out, the 308 with a 150 grain bullet, just cup and core, would have possibly gone pretty close to punching through that as well. And then you get the 3006, which has got a couple of 200 feet per second faster, say, out of the bat. So when it's hitting a deer at 100 metres, it's still going pretty quick, which is going to actually initiate expansion of the bullet quite a bit more rapid. So yes, fast is good, but fast needs to be matched with a good stout projectile. And that's like a premium bonded projectile. The likes of Swiss Siroccos, Nodzer Accubons, Partitions, a Woodley in a slightly heavier grain. So perhaps, say, if I was going to use 150s in this, I'd go to a 165 in the Woodley, which will give me near enough 180 grain cup and core penetration. I know my bullet's holding together, and I know that a 50 grain's going to go in there and do it, so the 165 will do it just as fine. Sort of rambling a little bit, but I'll leave it there and we'll see how we go in the next few weeks with this thing. I'm bloody loving it. The deers are hating it. That's all there is to it. So yeah, peace out. Better get back and cut this hind up. Alright.